Crayons and coffee in the morning. Hey there, Crayon Nation. It's a rainy one outside, but a sunny one in our hearts.
Especially because it's semifinals day. We get 4 back-to-back semifinals. We are early on in the first women's semifinal right now, and we will take a live look into that in just a moment. But we just wanted to give you a little bit of a rundown of what else we're going to cover today. Danny?
Yeah, we're going to have some segments coming in from the field, hopefully from some surprise special guests.
Hopefully.
Brian, this one coming out to you. We're going to have some dating advice later on in the segment, so make sure to stay tuned for that. And that's probably about it.
Yeah, we're really excited, so let's get right down to business.
All right, and we joined this first semifinal here in the women's division of the USAU College Championships between Oregon University and the University of British Columbia. We're 1 point into the game. Oregon held their first offensive point for a 1-0 lead. And here's UBC receiving the disc, centering and swinging it quickly to the open side of the field. Lots of quick handler movement to start off this point, looking to get it across half field.
And we see Oregon come out in a zone look. I think that's a good move. This game taking place on the showcase field that we've been filming on all weekend long. And, you know, we've really seen a lot of wind there throughout the weekend, making zone looks more viable.
A little bit of rain today, too, but UBC showing a lot of poise here early on and just working it all the way across field quickly. Catches one just outside of the end zone. Oregon staying in their cup, looking to force a turnover here. UBC looking for a reset back, swings it to the middle of the field. Ooh, and a nice concentration grab there by their central handler. She's going to look to break the cup here and try and keep it off that forced sideline.
It's going to be important for them to show patience here, right? Oh, and there's the goal.
Number 27 dishes to 47. Nice, cool, calm, collected offensive point.
You know, I would say that first point for British Columbia, even more important than Oregon's first point was for Oregon, right? With the number 1 seed overall facing off against an outperforming 10 seed. And with Oregon's firepower, it's really going to be critical for UBC to keep in the game, right? Even if they get up, they know that Oregon is going to be in, a danger to storm back, and UBC really can't afford to go down early.
Absolutely. That shows that they're going to put up a fight in this game, and that even if Oregon tries to throw them off with a junky zone look, that their handlers are easily capable of swinging it across the field and getting those open looks through the cup.
Here we're going to see Oregon on their second offensive point. Oregon, really one of the powerhouses of women's ultimate, led for a long time by former Carleton ultimate player Lou Burris.
Yeah, fun fact, Danny and Matt got to meet Lou Burris in Santa Barbara in 2010 as they were watching a game, and his reputation is not a good one.
I think it is better than it was. Actually, what you're referring to there is that he shared a story from his time at Carleton when he claimed that he was largely responsible for the creation of Carleton's second men's ultimate team, Gods of Plastic, which Danny and I played on, because his reputation at the time was such that there were some players who didn't want to play with him.
True. Oregon here receives the pull, looks to center, gets it back to their handler. UBC coming out in a little bit of a junky look as well, trying to take advantage of the less than ideal weather conditions. Oregon not having quite the flow that UBC did against the junk look either, but has been able to calmly work it between the handlers here.
Really nice patience so far. That being said, you really do need those downfield looks, and hard to say what's going on off screen that they weren't getting those open looks. But here they start to move it.
UBC transitioning to a man look and a nice inside break from the Oregon handler. Cutter dishes and another break around, looking deep along the break side. Oh! And a huge block in the end zone by the UBC defender. That's going to give them a great break opportunity here to go up 2-1.
And again, in a game where we really expect the likeliest scenario to be Oregon running away with it. Good to get early chances for UBC, but they turn it right back.
Oregon looking to punch it in here on the end zone, and a great bid and the goal. A nice athletic play from the Oregon cutter to convert that offensive point.
Really nice to see, the simultaneous concentration on catching the disc and keeping her first point of contact in bounds, as it looks like she was heading out of bounds on that bid.
And with that, Matt, I think we'll go back to Caleb in the field and check in on this game a little bit later.
Hello again, and welcome to Coach's Dating Corner, where we've got your dating advice queued up and ready to go.
My tip for this week is that If you're thinking about getting into a relationship, make sure not to take that lightly. If you didn't know, those things have to be fed 3 times a day.
Very true.
Mm.
And remember, women like somebody who's spontaneous and unpredictable. So on your next date, don't bring her flowers, bring her some fish.
Classic. And we're back for the second half here between Oregon and British Columbia. British Columbia to pull for the start here. Oregon looking to go up 9-6 after breaking to end of the first half.
Yeah, after what was a very competitive first half overall, it was really just the little things, including a mistake on that final point by British Columbia that allowed Oregon to take that final break and, again, turn what had been a really tight game into one where British Columbia is going to need to come back here.
Oh, and a drop from the Oregon cutter is going to give British Columbia just that opportunity here with the break to start the second half. This is a big chance for them. We look to see if the handlers can stay patient and work this up the field.
Yeah, this is really that big opportunity. Let's hope that they can put it away and keep this game nice and competitive till late in the second half.
Oh, no, and a drop from UBC gives it right back to Oregon. Handler looks to swing it across field to the break side here. Right up the middle. Oregon looking to exploit this turnover, get it back on track.
We see Oregon cutters really creating a lot of space for themselves, and then their throwers taking advantage by just putting it into that space out in front of them, allowing them to run on.
Haley Walrus with the give and go and a nice snag around her defender, getting it to that open side here about 15 yards out and going to put a bendy flick around. She's got a receiver, and it looks like we've got a goal. Observe a signal, and that is 9-6 Oregon.
Haley Walrus, really one of the premier throwers in either the men's or the women's division. Just some unbelievable touch, unbelievable distance, really has the full package.
Thanks, guys. I was at Target the other day, and, I overheard somebody. They said something pretty naughty. It's pretty crazy. They said there's a new dynamic duo in town. And they ain't nothing to mess with. As you just saw, those guys are fantastic. Back to you.
And we're back here for the final point between Oregon and British Columbia. Oregon has pulled away in this second half, up 14-9, looking to close it out for the final point and that trip to the finals.
Now, of course, potential final point. British Columbia still could put this next one away and make a little bit of a run, but the first game point here for Oregon, with how they've looked for the last few points, it's hard not to feel like they're going to close this one out from this point.
Yeah, you got to expect Oregon's going to put the top line out there just to try and take this one home without any further fuss. And they've got a nice rolling pull out the sideline, probably looking to set up a trap defense here and get an early turnover.
Let's take a look. It does look at first glance like they're coming out in man, which is interesting after that rolling pull. Oh, no, there's the trap.
A little bit of a poach there from the dump handler, but a throw up the line goes, and it is a little too low for the receiver. Oregon picking up with a chance for the win.
Let's see if they go for the kill here with an immediate deep shot. Moving quickly with some give and goes, and there's a
travel call. That disc is going to come back here, I think. Yep, exactly. Got a little anxious there on the release and was changing direction or changing speed as she was trying to then continue her cut upfield.
Oregon's still going to be looking to move quickly here, as is their MO. UBC really going to bring everything they have here on this potentially last point of the game.
Reset to the middle, and then another four-side under. Stretching out, looking for the around, but gives an easy undercut back to number 11, who hits up the field. It's a little high. Oh, and it's going to be turned over just outside the reach of the Oregon cutter.
UBC still alive, but just barely.
Walking up to the end zone line, disc is going to get tapped in. Oregon just back to the normal man look. And a four-side under and a little dish back to the handler, and that
She drops it.
Just bounces off the hands. That's a tough one.
Got to imagine there's a lot of nerves here as their trip to finals could be ending as we speak.
Ooh, and a high release lefty backhand goes awry. That might have been a case of a little bit of impatience there, looking to close this one out.
Absolutely. After a very clean game, we're seeing some uncharacteristic turnovers here from both teams.
UBC swings it across the field. No mark on, gives that opportunity for the breakside look, but nobody there. And now a high release up the line. And again, just cannot quite come down with it. Nerves or a wet disc starting to play a little bit of a role.
Yes, may not have been apparent too much through the video, but there's a light rain going on throughout this point, and we have a timeout from Oregon as they look to put this one away.
Good move here, I think. Settle the troops down, get the play that you want, and try and get out of this game without expending any further energy. You know, they're figuring that they've got one more to play here.
So, Danny, what have you been seeing throughout this game so far?
I think one of the things that Oregon's been doing really well is throwing and going, both from their handlers but also from their cutters, especially Jessie Schaffner in the cutter set. She's distinguishable because of the war paint on the face there, but she's really been running her defender all over the field and just dishing immediately after getting the disc, which has created a lot of open space for her. And it shows on the stat sheet. She's got 3 goals and 3 assists. Pretty solid day.
Absolutely. Keeping the defense on its heels, really making sure that you're never allowing them a chance to get comfortable, to get relaxed at all.
Absolutely. A little replay here of this Ultrastar play of the game, which is Schaffner with a big layout grab in the end zone. Just a really athletic play and a great concentration grab.
Yeah, she has made some amazing plays throughout this game. We also saw her earlier along the opposite sideline go up a little bit too early for a floaty catch, miss it, and immediately get the second effort. Really remind you that you always got to stay with the disc as long as it's in the air.
Gotta love her quick trigger finger. Oregon taps the disc in here, swings it back to the middle. Looks like we've got one cutter in isolation in the middle of the field just looking to exploit a matchup. And now we're going to transition back to their normal host stack offense. Just swings around to the break side. Lots of handler movement to start off here. A nice inside break. Grabbed about 20 yards out. Dishes back. Contact there, but we're not going to stop play as we break around the top. Oregon looking to punch it in and throw to the end zone, and that is going to do it. Oregon Fugue is off to the finals, and they will face either Carleton or Stanford, the game coming up next here. Either of those teams is going to have a tough task, and this Oregon team looks very good.
I have to say, as a pair of Carleton alums ourselves, Coach Danny and I will definitely be pulling for Carleton Syzygy in that game and hoping that they are not outmatched against a very good Stanford Superfly, as British Columbia here was by Oregon.
All right, that's all that we have here from USA Ultimate College Championships. We hope you enjoyed, and you should tune in later on in the day for both that second women's semifinal and both of the men's semifinals as well. That's all the time that we have today here on Crayons and Coffee. I hope that you enjoyed episode 3, and we'll try and get one more out for you here before the season ends.
Absolutely. Danny, you want to take us out of this with some weekly wisdom?
Yeah, Matt, any pizza is a personal pizza as long as you try hard enough.
Very true. Thanks, guys.